I don't know if any of you know that sounder, but that's an old sounder that I used to listen to many, many years ago when I was working with and listened an awful lot to the BBC. Brings back many memories, so I grabbed one and put it out there. And we begin every program with a sounder just to remind you, hey, take time to pay attention. This might be helpful, this might be useful, because it's an interesting idea. Interesting Ideas, that's the name of the program. My name is Stan Houston, and it is my privilege and my pleasure to be able to spend just a little time with you. And today we're going to do a little longer program. Most of our stuff during the weekday is about 4 to 5 minutes, maybe even a little bit less, maybe slightly more. But today I want to talk to you about the power of being a know-em-all. Okay, you got that? The power in being a know-em-all. Something I found in the deep archives of my life, and I think it might be good for me to remind myself because I'm not very good at it, and perhaps you'd find it an interesting idea too. So here we go. We're going to be talking about a know-em-all. The program is just that, Interesting Ideas, and it begins right now. Now, of course, it's not about being a know-it-all. We all know what that means, and usually a person with that kind of a reputation, either one of two things is true. First of all, they might just be somebody, that rare person who really is an incredible Renaissance person. Now, they don't know it all, but they sure know a lot. And because of that, they truly are interesting people if they are not a know-it-all, which means is that they think they know everything and they're there to show it off and try and intimidate and bully people because that's who they are. So, yeah, a know-it-all usually is not a compliment, even if a person is a fairly significant know-it-all. But we're talking about a know-em-all. And I was going through some of my old stuff. Now, one of the things about, I remember my father used to say this, because we did move around a lot. He said, 6 moves is as good as a fire. By 6th move, everything is gone. You've had to change everything because you're obviously, throwing things out or selling things or whatever when you move. Well, this was a long move from Arizona to Carolina. And we were moving from a nice size home to a nice but much smaller apartment. So we had to throw a lot of stuff away, give a lot of stuff away. That's a good thing to do. And a few of the things we thought, well, we'll try and sell them. And in some cases we did. And a lot of them we didn't. And then we gave them away too. But I found this thing that I wrote a number of years ago. And it was called Just That, a Know-em-all. And it goes back almost 15 years. So let me just kind of read it to you if I can. In the February 4th issue of the Opinion Journal on the Wall Street Journal website, a gentleman named Dr. Michael Siegel, who's a writer and a neurologist, seeks to explain some of the so-called intellectual hatred and disdain for then-President George Bush. Now, all of the presidents have had just that. A lot of love and a lot of hatred. It obviously has heightened in the years, but George Bush was certainly one of them, even though his deal first began with the very heroic work that he did in 9/11, but soon the anger and the enemies also made their appearance. Now, here's what he says about George Bush. He possesses an intellectual and social skill they do not have or value. They believe that they are brighter than most of us, including the president. They know it all. But President Bush is not a know-it-all. He is a know-em-all. Now, Siegel knows that the college-age George Bush had a reputation as a poker-playing party animal, a poker-playing party animal. And it's probably well-deserved. But he says this has a very positive side. Now, here he continues on. He says, his Yale classmates claim that he knew everyone in their undergraduate class, about 350 students. And one can almost believe this was literally true. Classmate Clay Johnson recalled the time when he and George Bush were freshman pledges for the DKE fraternity. Now, the upperclassmen were berating them as the sorriest bunch of pledges that they had ever heard of. That's what Mr. Johnson told PBS's Frontline. Now, normally, most pledge classes are very tight and very supportive of one another, and we were 50 individuals, and we were not interested in each other, and there was no unity in our class, and they said it was really quite deplorable. They were one of the deplorables, okay. To make this point, they started calling on people to get up and name their fellow pledge members. And they called the first person, and he named 4 or 5, and then he didn't know anybody else's name. And they told him what a sorry human being he was and how little he cared about his fellow pledges. Then they called on somebody else, and he named 8 or 10, but didn't know anybody else. Anyway, the third or fourth person they called on was George. He got up and named all 50. There was this hush that fell over the room. Well, Mr. Bush went on to become president of the fraternity. He didn't know just the names. Classmates marvel about how he could sum up each person's essence with great insight and humor. Now, Siegel claims that one of the reasons Bush won the nomination over John McCain in the year 2000, because McCain is a bit of a know-it-all, and Bush was a know-em-all. Now, both skills are important in leadership, but those who pride themselves on how smart they are, that's the intellectual and literary set, are seldom very good at admitting they don't know it all, and that they may need others who know more to help them. In fact, they often disdain those who don't know it all. They think they are stupid. Well, now this is me, okay? I often tell my clients and my listening audiences that everyone they meet is wearing an invisible sign, and that if you pay attention to that sign, your chances of success are enhanced. And then I stop and say, that invisible sign that everyone wears says, please tell me I'm important. Everybody's wearing a sign saying, please tell me I'm important. And of course, we've all heard the old saying, don't care what you know until I know that you care. And all of this is part of wisdom, maybe a common but uncommon wisdom that we often forget. Just some thoughts, an interesting idea for you and for me, who doesn't do very good at names. And my wife says, Stan, get better at that. Yeah, maybe I need to be a know-em-all and try to work on that before I try to be a know something else more. Little self-confession, but that's good for me, and I know it, and I kind of admit it. So I admire that kind of person who knows the names, and my wife is one of those. Totally. She knew the name of everybody in our church, literally everybody. She was truly a know-em-all. So Karen Houston can teach you some lessons in being a good know-em-all. That's the interesting idea. Thank you for your time. We'll be right back. Well, I hope that that has been helpful. But by the way, the work I do is just that. I can help you learn that wonderful thing. That's my idea. Please remember that every person you meet has a sign that says, "Please tell me I'm important." And I've gotten very good at doing that, hopefully, for everybody I meet. I do that. I please try and read that sign, and I try and make them feel as if they're the most important person in the world. And in many cases, you wouldn't believe how good it has gone for me. You wouldn't believe, at least back in the days when I used to fly a lot more, how many times I got a first-class upgrade just because I was treating the people there as the most important people in the world. And I didn't do it just as a trick. That's just kind of what I believed I should do. Treat everybody you meet as if they are the most important person in the world, and just see how that might work for you. Hey, I can reach out to me, stanhouston@gmail.com. We can come and coach, consult, and speak with your group. We can show you how to create an opportunity, hospitality situation in which literally people feel extremely important and welcomed in your business, both as colleagues and customers. We'll even help you appoint a chief hospitality officer. You would not believe what that will do for your business. The CHO might be even more important than the CEO. Thank you for your time. Again, reach out to me, and we would be grateful if you'd recommend us to others. And, of course, keep listening to interesting ideas. All the best and blessings, and bye for now.